Welcome to my channel, SteveO the Window Cleaner. Today we are cleaning two homes that amount to $365 in the end. This is our first house right to the right here, outside only. First thing I did was get the ladder off of the van. These ladder racks are extremely nice, especially if you have like a Ram ProMaster or a Ford Transit. I'll put more info in the comments so you can check these out. This is a Warner 20-foot ladder with leg levelers and a standoff on the top. I like to put my ladder on the actual roof, not on the actual gutter. I just find that putting the gutter can actually damage the paint or can scratch the paint off the gutter, and I find it safer to put the standoffs right on the roof, and you get a really good, steady feel to the ladder. This was a brand new home. I thought it was going to be instruction clean, so I got a brand new razor. I don't use razors a lot on homes, but I got a brand new one out just in case, and I hardly had to use it. Use a little bit of Glass Clean Floor and Glass Clean Glide with a little bit of Dawn as well. I've been using this recently, and I actually quite like it with the mix together. Most of these windows weren't really dirty. Unfortunately, we weren't cleaning the inside because this was during the time of the coronavirus, so I'm not sure if this video will be released anytime soon. But just to kind of give perspective on why we're not doing the inside of this home, we usually would. This is an old client of ours for a long time. Forgot my putty knife that I usually take out screens with, so I was using this little screen wedge tool that the window cleaning palm left for me, Aaron, after he worked with me this past summer, and it works pretty well, so it wasn't really too bad. I have found though the combination of the Glass Clean Glide, the Dawn with the GG4 has a super nice glide to it, and so I'm trying to kind of get used to it. And I did notice a better pop to the windows after being done. Always check roof lines for extra windows, especially when you don't know the house. This is the first time I've done this house, even though this is a old customer of ours. They just bought this house recently. When doing like windows like this, I find that a 20-foot ladder and a 3-foot step ladder actually works out pretty well for homes as far as the ladders needed. You can put your 20-foot, set it up like this, do the top windows, and then once you're done doing the top windows, you just take out the 3-foot step ladder and do the bottom windows. This is what I used to do all the time. I use my stack ladder a lot too for stuff like this to just go right in between the panes, but the 20-foot and the 3-foot step ladder you can almost just bring around the whole house, especially a house like this. The screens are brand new, so we just brushed them off with a towel and didn't have to do too much to them to get them clean. On this house, there was only 2 windows like this. One needed the 20, one needed the 28, so it's always good when doing homes, make sure you have the right equipment on you when doing them. Make sure to look for things like this. This was missing all the trim around the window. Take a picture, give it to the owner. She was very happy that I found that. She did not know about it. I've recently been getting into PreRagging. PreRagging is kind of nice, and I don't know why I've been doing it lately. I usually never did it, but lately I've been doing it all the time. Homes where you have so this little thing below me standing here is like a walkout basement. I've just been recently pulling these and then fanning them down. If they were extremely dirty and really needed a good scrub, I would have got up there and done them. But the reason why I put the big towel up there and wiped the edges was because there was mud all over the frame. So, always get the frame clean, and that's a good way of doing it. Just stick your towel up there and then just squeegee down the glass, of course. And, for homes, I always detail the sides. It's also a good idea for a home to always set up your ladder so that you can do the most windows with the least amount of trips up the ladder as possible. So that's what I always do. It's good to be able to squeegee the left and right hand. It really helps. I won't do all 6 of these panes on the ladder. The bottom 2 I do with the step ladder, but it helps to set up your ladder as much as you can like this. Windows like this, my ladder was actually a little too small, so I used my pole, but I always get up there and wipe down the bottom of the frame to get the water off of there. And when I did it, you can't really see it here, but I actually found some silicone that I got off with the magic eraser and then actually buffed it out with a little bit of steel wool. But always get up there and wipe your ledges, especially at homes. It's just extremely important to clean those. If you're using water-fed pole, you're already getting them clean. But if you're doing traditional, make sure you get up there and wipe that. These are pretty large patio doors. If you're cleaning patio doors like this, I definitely suggest doing a minimum of like $10 or even more per piece of these. This is big glass, and these windows turned out to have a lot of silicone on them from the construction clean, and actually took me quite a long time. These window wells were nice. They had actual steps to go down into the window well, which was nice. I always use a track brush to remove like the dirt out of stuff like that, but I don't remove that extra dirt that you see there on the actual like foundation frame of the house. I don't do that. The basements weren't crazy dirty. Here I won't really use the IPC pad holder. I'll do this by hand because you can apply better pressure and get a better scrub on the glass with using the bronze wool by hand than on the pad. But the pad, of course, is really, really nice for like pole work and such. And then just make sure to kind of like, especially when you do construction, I do try to wipe extra and just kind of get everything looking really, really good. And of course, you know, always detail. Well, that pretty much finishes up this home. This was the last window there. This home was overly pretty easy. 165 took me an hour and a half outside only. So overall, a pretty good average. And a happy customer that we've had for a long time. Collected the check because of coronavirus. We didn't really interact too much, but she was great. She's been a great customer of ours for a long time. Next, we headed to the next job. I was supposed to be there. They said anytime. Wound up, they couldn't go till 2, so I actually went to my parents, cleaned their house, and then came to this house right around 2 o'clock and cleaned them. This home was $175. It was a phone estimate because she lived in an area we usually don't go to, but because of the times we're helping people out. Biggest thing on this job was the screens. Every screen on this job should have came out like this, but unfortunately, most screens were put in wrong by somebody, or the screens just didn't simply come out. After I got some of the screens out, be sure you always ask where the water spigot is. This was under the front porch, which was really, really weird. When washing screens that are really dirty, this house hadn't been cleaned in probably 15 years. I find that with the screen washer, I've been scrubbing them once, getting that water out of there, and then scrubbing them again, and then tapping the water out. What I have been finding lately is that if you just leave the original water on, the screen's kind of dry with like a dirty look on them. So I've been kind of washing really dirty screens twice and just making sure I get all the areas. I always go around after cleaning the screens and put them by the windows that they are meant to go in, especially when they're outdoor screens, and let them dry. This screen right here is put in wrong. Well, it's not wrong, but it is wrong because the springs that are on that right side are supposed to be on the left side, and it is just impossible to get out, and I actually broke my screen wedge tool right here. When things like that happen, just continue on with the job and kind of think about it while you're doing other things. Don't let stuff waste a lot of your time. These inside windows were dirty. They just hadn't been cleaned for a long time. Basically, there was just a lot of grease, a lot of bug prints, took a lot of razoring. And so what I did is I got a fresh bronze wool pad. That fresh razor from this morning really helped out, and it allowed me to get through some really dirty windows fast. This window in the basement was where the screen wouldn't come out, so I thought, I'm gonna go to the basement, I'm gonna take out the pane and then clean the outside of it. But unfortunately, because of the drywall, the way that it's been installed, you can't take the window out without damaging that drywall on the bottom there. So again, with something like this, just clean the inside, move on, and you'll get to the outside and figure it out. You know, once again, all these windows required like a good scraping, a good bronze wooling. They were just freaking filthy. And it's one of those jobs where like you're doing the inside and you can't even tell if it's really looking better because you couldn't really see your own accidents inside because it was so dirty. If you're doing a storm door like this, these sides where you see these like squares basically, that is raised out of the glass. Just scrub it like normal. All the windows are dirty, so bronze wool every single thing. Squeegee it like normal. Don't really worry about those basically like beveled edges. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to buff out those pieces where those beveled edges are at and just wipe up that water. I found that the Glass Clean Glide and the GG4 with the Dawn made this super easy, where usually I would have spent longer on that. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but it looks really nice. Customers said they could have walked out of it at the end. So here's more screens that are hard to get out. So if you have a screen that's reversed and the springs are on the wrong side, that's happening here, a flathead. A flathead, to get that spring flat, usually start at the top, that will be the easiest, and just kind of pull it out. So those springs should be on the other side. If you feel like you're gonna break it, just communicate with the customer. And then with these type of screens that I couldn't get out right away, I just washed by hand. To take them each back to the screen washer was just too much, so I just traditionally washed them. Every basement window I clean twice. What happens sometimes with hard water is I won't sometimes scrape because it can show the path of your razor. So usually I'll bronze wool, but I made the mistake here of using a razor as well. So after I cleaned it here, you can't see it here, but it left the path, so I redid it again. So just know that for basements. Usually with screens, we do not clean the patio screen doors. As you can see here, they're kind of hard to put on. This one was already broken, so I just wiped it down, and that's mostly usually what I'll do. Let's talk about these. These are the worst kind of French doors. The grid that's in this door is loose, so all the water and soap goes behind the grid onto the next pane. So I just straight pull these, get them a good scrub. These were extremely dirty, and just try to wipe away as much water as I go through this. Usually what I'll do is I'll finish it, come back towards the end of the job just to make sure nothing else is dripped real bad and buff out any more drips, but literally do not waste too much time on this. It can take up so much stupid time. Anyways, wrote them up the receipt. It was actually $175 and they paid a $25 tip. So it was a $200 home altogether. So a $365 date altogether. If you have any questions about today, as far as the jobs we did, please comment below. And if you guys need anything from Window Cleaning Resource, please feel free to reach out to me at the number below. And I hope this video has been helpful. Have a good day. Bye-bye.